Good morning, wherever you are. This is Jason Adams. This is Objectivist Matters, where we play it nice and safe with a pre-recorded show with no real particular format, but we talk about different things. I talk about the things, and if anybody dares, they'll make a comment. It's kind of like a landline, like in Matrix. It's not X. It's not anything really. It's just there, rooted. I was looking into buying a UHF channel. I wondered what ChatGPT, if it could just go out and buy me one. Then we could put all sorts of objectivist media. Oh, did I tell you it's Objectivist Matters? Do I got to go annotate this? That was fun, the last one. I annotated it. We should go look at that one. Although I have things lined up to talk about today. I was looking at, we could buy a UHF ultra high frequency channel. But I guess a lot of that got turned into mobile bandwidth. And what it says, starting a new one from scratch is going to be harder. I think so. It says to buy an existing one. The easiest route is purchase a licensed station that already operates a UHF frequency. Are there any UHF operators in Washington I could buy? Let's see what it says. I mean, I don't take this stuff too seriously, but it's good entertainment value. Maybe later if I think about it. If not, I'll play it back and we'll do it on another show, and I'll mention quickly. I like to be all across the board here. But let's finish one thought before the next, right? At least stick with it. He wasn't able to locate any known publicly listed UHF television channels in Washington state that are actively advertised for sale right now with full specifics, though there are broker listed indicating availability in Washington markets. Listings. For example, the broker site, the price tag of 1.8 to 1.1 million. That's a lot of money. I think they would be giving these to people, but maybe there's something. Maybe they're probably selling it to the mobile spectrum. Can I call it the spectrum? Anyway, all across the board. Yeah, I was at the Irreplaceable Spark Conference, and I'm still on caffeine, but we talked that really wasn't it. What I got to do now is go down and do some jiu-jitsu with Mark Pellegrino. Get a twister board. He's going to throw me down on the mat, give me a cup to the gut, a boot to the ass, a nice pa-pow, bang, ball busting. I don't know. But I don't think I should talk about it like that. I think probably his dojo is something probably respectful, and maybe he doesn't talk about it on his show. I've heard no, I don't heard anything. We know he lost a pet recently, so maybe it's not the time for jokes and something. But if I go down there, since I bid on this at the Irreplaceable Spark Conference, I would be happy for a lighthearted session where, and serious but lighthearted. Maybe I could learn how to take a fall. Maybe I could learn how to do, I'm sorry, but a choreographed jiu-jitsu move suitable for acting or television, or somebody who has a camera. We could do matrix effects, and I could go back, and if we could just have a casual talk, that's fine. I'd love to spend the day with him on whatever terms he believes are acceptable. And if it's karate, like karate, which I've been in a little bit, you want to be respectful to the dojo, and you want to be honorable, and you don't want to give up. Well, I don't know. If I just set a task, I feel like I'm meeting that gambate feature of, and maybe they don't have, I'm sure they have something more serious in jiu-jitsu. Should probably look up a bit more about jiu-jitsu, shouldn't I? And respect, honor, gambate, right? Let's look up jiu-jitsu and explain a bit about, because this would be good to know before I get there, instead of making wisecracks about how I'm going to get on the twister board and get in a boot. All right, jiu-jitsu is Japanese. Okay. It's a traditional Japanese martial art that focuses on using opponent's strength and momentum against them. I've heard this in other forms of martial arts, that rather than meeting force with force. So I like the idea of this, the art of softness, a gentle technique. Okay. Well, he told me that I'm gonna get down on the ground and. All right. It's developed by a samurai in feudal Japan as an unarmed combat method. All right. I'm not going to do a whole thing on jujitsu, but it's a mental note as this show goes on that there might be, maybe I should get up there and do some practicing to show at least what I want to get out of the lesson and my time with Mark. Yeah, leverage, timing, and technique rather than brute strength. Why don't I just take one thing a day? Leverage, timing, and technique. Your LTT. All right. Now I went into a loop and I come back out of the loop. It's a black hole. Black hole in economics. If you watched closely in my last video, I showed that it's really at the bottom. It's annotated that I'd worked for Raiffeisen. And this guy said he might have known an Austrian bank. It might be Raiffeisen. We couldn't find the index. It's not key to what it's about, but if it was a strategist and an analyst or something that happened to one of their regional or retail banks, you can look up Raiffeisen. That'd be interesting to me since I worked for them. So that's the black hole in economics, money creation and its consequences by Jim Brown. And I picked that up at the Irreplaceable Spark Conference. And if you watch my video, you don't have to go back. There's a reason to go back and watch it. It's just funny that I put that in there, that we debit and credit and credit and debit. That was part of the systems that I used. And yeah, I am quite aware that banks will have something at another bank, and that's their credit. We have a nostro and they have a vostro is what it's called in Europe. So yeah, you have a series of, it's like having an account with somebody else and then they debit it and they'll write you and credit it. But where does the money actually come from? Now my understanding is that it comes from a charter. Is that a good word? Something that a retail bank or a bank lets you do in conjunction with the Federal Reserve. And then if you have excess money, you have to put it overnight with them. And they tell you how much money you can have and how many deposits you can have. So you're kind of working that way. Investment bank's a bit different. That's actually, I work more in investment banking a little bit with the systems. Again, not knowing when to buy different beer companies and things. But if there's a beer company to be put together into a bigger beer company, that was one of the many mergers and acquisitions that I was a small part of the team with. So I'm looking forward. It is wealth creation, but I wonder if there's a black hole. That does sound dire. And if it's just, okay, I'm starting my new bank and another bank's going to give me $50 million just on credit, based on what? Then I'm going to give them so much credit. So they have, so it balances. If they do something with me, I do something through them, through the Fed. All right, so that's stuff to think about when you think about banking if you want to. Otherwise, you can just pay cash, I guess. I don't know. We have, I didn't set this one up, some cards back. I'm going to keep it all digital, and we're just going to look at the cards that I got. What's the best way to do that is to open a screen off here so I don't give any private information away, and pull that up. Now I can play a clip for you while I do that. With that, it's probably going to play an ad anyway, knowing my luck. Remember Dallas? Yeah, we got some clips of Dallas. Back to, when I put up my last video, it knows that I play a clip from something else, right? That's why I'm not monetized or anything. If I was monetized, it wouldn't let me have any other clips or any other musical clips, at least. And I find that interesting that it can't just charge me. I know if I'm making a movie and I want to use a little E.T. reference or an E.T. character, somebody's got to get some money. And I'm sure if you're making a big production, yeah, you have a contract that you sign for that, right? But when it comes to, like, I want to play 5 minutes of a song here, I don't know, like, YouTube should get them. If I was making money and I'm not making money, then it knows the song I'm playing, right? I mean, let me show you what I mean by that, just so I'm not out to lunch here. Here I am on YouTube. I'm going to go to my channel, Objectivist Matters. Okay, where's my Objectivist Matters? Right, this is how it looks to me. And that was the last one. Sunday Plays. They don't put the one where I was trying to sell that book. But here we go. I got 57 views for that. 30 views. This is like the longest one 2 years ago. It was something I made with AI. 41 views. 86 views when I called in Dan Norton. I met Dan down at the Irreplaceable Spark. And yeah. He was he had a show. I haven't been able to watch his last couple of shows, but he had a show on while I was going down to Puerto Vallarta to get my residence things sorted out down there. And his show lasted almost as long as my trip. I think it had to cut out earlier. But then I went off Wi-Fi a few times, so then I had to catch up, or data. So this one here, that's me. I can comment on me. I'm annotating the annotation. Huh? How does it work?
Let's say 9/11.
Oh yeah, I'm looking up the old newspapers, right? So, hang on. There's a view analytics. Is that the analytics I get? All right. So when people watch it and stuff, details. Where is it at that it knows a copyright? It knows here that I used a Rum and Coca-Cola song, and it knows here that I played the Ragtime music. So I would say that if I was getting money here, then it would just be the same as somebody clicking here. Why I can click it here in the first place? I could go hear the Rum and Coca-Cola song. I guess if I'm making money and I'm using them to make money, they should get some of the money. But all that money is going to be decided by YouTube anyway. So if I should be able to just click and say, I'm happy to give you what you'd like for the Rum and Coca-Cola usage that I had. I'm very happy to do it. I don't know why it wouldn't be easy in the 21st century. Okay, that's for people who, like the Professor Rock, who's always going to play little clips to talk about the history of music. He's getting all the time. People are complaining to him. I'm sure he'd be happy to, if he's getting a big chunk of money, okay, he played a little bit of the Queen song. You could click the Queen song here. Make sure that Queen gets a little bit of money at it. I don't know what's going on. So that's my point on that. So I'm going to play these things and giving credit to where they're due. So did I just jibber jab? I just jibber jab, didn't I? Talking. You tell when I talk, and I like to sing, and I just like to. All right. So we were talking about JR, and here's what we got. This was interesting. So we will pull them up here first. Pull up a screen. And can I make things bigger here or smaller? How can I do that? Hang on. I could make myself a little smaller. Let's try it. It's good to be able to edit things. You don't need to see. That's fine. Now, here's JR scrolling. Let's take a look at it. There's our card. Larry Hagman. Can I rotate? I can copy it. We'll copy it. Okay. Copy image. See, now I'm flustered. I don't know. I think you can see it on its side anyway there. So they rated the autograph. They gave it a 7, right? They're not rating the card here. The back's a puzzle, the red bordered puzzle. All right, so what we want to do is ultimately get everybody who was in these cards autographed and at least graded as authentic. I don't know if I'm clicking the option always. So can I go back? Okay, where am I at? I'm not going to bother flipping it around. It's all right. And then here we got Sue Ellen. That was played by Linda Gray. And love Linda Gray. I like that. And they gave me a 10 on the autograph, I guess. That might be a pretty penny then. But I'm putting them all together, and you're going to get everything together. Now here's what was really a little upsetting was that this, well, you're not going to see an image of it. It said it was of questionable authenticity. Now I bought it only for about $15, but it costs a pretty penny to get them graded like this. I'm talking to the guy on eBay if he can make a resolution for me. Maybe he can just I'll give him back because he's got a perfect record. So this will be very interesting. If he has 100%, I think only 2 neutrals, which was something about a little fray on the corner or something. Right? I'm talking about selling me an autograph that PSA says is not real, and I'd like, you know, them to just, maybe they could take the card back and give me my less than $20 back. They'll get a card that's been graded for well over 40 and come back negative, and they can go take the case up with PSA. I think that's a good idea. Or give me a replacement card, although I've already purchased. When this happens, I think somebody's messing with the autographs in my mind, so I want to immediately get a graded, may not be PSA, but I want to get at least an authentic, because I want to get my set right, you know, and I don't know, should have paid for a PSA graded one in the first place, I guess, but I thought I could, you know, well, the other 2 worked. Those were not in cases until I put them in. I paid for the grading, put them into the case. So, okay, well, so let's go back to some fun with Dallas. As I mentioned, I watched Dallas as a kid, right? I also have ideas how, like, I don't know, is this the kind of, people think that this is what things are like or something. Okay, we'll close those 3 cards. I may pull up the cards again, though. Sorry, all right, let's do one topic at a time. Dallas, JR.
Listen, paying $14.99 a month for a streaming app and $9.99 a month for a music app and $12.99 for a fitness app and more money for a bunch of other apps, that really adds up. So why not get YouTube Premium for just $13.99? It's like having all those and the entire world of YouTube uninterrupted. Your wallet will thank you, if wallets could talk. YouTube Premium. Try 1 month free.
Seems
Yeah.
JR, what can I do for you?
Franklin, Les Crowley of the People's Lone Star Bank is trying to raise $5 million.
I know, he just called. He said it was for Ewing Oil.
I'd really appreciate it if you did not cooperate with Mr. Crowley, and if you could persuade all your friends in the banking community to do likewise.
I don't understand.
I know you don't, Franklin. That's why I'm richer than you are. Just do it.
That's why I'm richer. So he's calling a bank. Right? He's calling a bank. I'll go back to that. And he's telling him not to lend him the money. I mean, it's all part of Dallas is, you want to know the story. He's planning something. You don't exactly know what he's planning. He might be planning a couple of moves ahead, because as you're watching it, you see just this much. But he really wanted that. He really got this to happen, and maybe he was hedged either way. But he's basically calling a bank, telling him not to lend to this other, oil company, and telling everybody in the bank. Do people believe it really works like that? That's why I'm rich. Yeah, he's a rich person, right? And he can call it. It doesn't work like that, but I think people love to hate J.R. Ewing so much that something had got in their blood, and they carried on through The Apprentice and through Donald Trump's, he was oil, real estate development, which is all like you have to get approvals. It's all a political machine, they call it, right? So they idolize that kind of stuff. They don't know what a parody is or isn't anymore. They think that, I don't want you to lend to them. I mean, they think there's something to it. Even if they don't take it, well, they read the Inquirer, so they think there's a little bit something to it. And, that's going to make sense for them. All right, so let's see. And it doesn't work like that. Let's watch them. So as I said, I like to watch a little story. Here we get Landman. Landman's kind of... Let me take a drink here. They're in the middle of a boardroom. Everybody's yapping about different things, climate change, different interests. And John, I forget his, Madman guy, John Hain. All right, let's just play it.
Now, nuclear, that's maxed out, unless they build more reactors, and that's not going to happen. Nuclear is not an option for climate change advocates, even though it's our cleanest and most reliable form of energy. Wind is twice as expensive as natural gas, and solar 4 times as expensive. Plus, on its best day of the year, a solar power plant generates electricity for about 8 hours. All our electric vehicles are doing is exporting their emissions to the power plant. Our greatest potential for growth is in exports. China only consumes 14% of the world's petroleum reserves. India is at 4.9%, Russia a little over 3%. We feel that our lobbyists' focus should be on easing the regulations on exports. Our LNG exports to Europe last year climbed to 64% of total exports.
Excuse me, if I may. What you're not seeing in the States is this rabid opposition to fossil fuels of any kind, to their use, to their extraction.
38% of the UK's electricity came from natural gas piped in from Norway, Steve.
But,
gentlemen.
But 1/4 is from wind, which I agree is unreliable and expensive, but, and this isn't important, but...
Steve.
Energy consumption is not a social issue,
The
Steve.
hell it's not. It's deeply social. And we must endeavor ourselves to educate the world about our commitment to cleaner
Steve,
energy.
will you shut the fuck up? My God, this is why I don't come to these things. Y'all have been in so many shareholder meetings, you forgot what it is we actually do for a living. We are well diggers. We don't, nor can we ever control how our product is used or what it is used for. There's nothing I can do to make an engine run cleaner because I don't build fucking engines. I don't care what the governor of California says about electric vehicles. I don't care how many career college students block London traffic or spray paint a fucking sculpture. I care that the price of oil stays between $76 and $88 a barrel. That is what we should be discussing. The world has already convinced itself that you are evil and I am evil for providing them the one fucking thing they interact with every day, and they will not be convinced otherwise. Stop wasting your time. Stop fucking wasting mine.
All right, we'll pause it there so you can go watch it. Now, unfortunately, as I mentioned, the show meanders. This isn't necessarily this is almost a this kind of character. I want to say something I would find in an Ayn Rand novel or Ayn Rand inspired novel. Somebody the character is really doing something. Now it's not necessarily he's the industrial objectivist capitalist. He's got one goal: dig wells and keep oil at this range. So, but he's committed to what he does, and he speaks his mind. So, you can juxtapose that to how J.R. Ewing there does business, and looking forward to a new season's going to start here this month. So we watch the new Landman trailer. Is that allowed? Landman trailer. Season? Are we on season 2? Yeah, okay.
Every dime you ever made, I pumped it out of the ground, and that don't change.
But he's dead, Tommy. And now what? I'm supposed to let his trophy wife go and try to pull permits from the Railroad Commission?
I run the company. She owns it. But if you want to fight about it, lawyer up, big boy, let's go. Why don't you let me sell this thing?
I want success. Get it for me.
In this business, you have to know the rules of the game before you can bend them. And if you don't, you lose all of it.
All right, we're going to pause it there. You can go watch more of it. That way I don't play the whole thing and say that, I took from you watching it there. There was something there I didn't like. They're going to bend rules. So is this going to get into the... we made a deal, but I gotta outwit you, and I think something like that's gonna happen. It'll be very Dallas-y like. So, what objective people would consider, a deal and try and follow. There's gonna be conniving and backstabbing, and but that's as good as we can get on the TV right now. So, all right. So I saw even once I'd mentioned Mr. Beast, and it came down there. I just wonder if that's all it takes is one mention. What was I looking at where I could see it showed it as a little tag there of what I was using and who's got the content detection. All right, well, at least I don't got any removal requests. I'm not that important, I guess. All right. I like it that way. I don't know what it takes. All right. So let's close down JR. We looked at the Dallas cards. There we got some nice people I met at the Irreplaceable Spark Conference, right? There's James Valiant and Rosie, who put the whole thing on, his wife, and Linda Cordar. Oh. And as you know, they had Quentin Cordar, and all sorts of art is available. They're in Jackson, am I saying that right? Jackson, Wyoming. And yes, Robert and Amy Nacer was there. Actually, if you go back there, you'll see I was on there briefly. They talked about my jiu-jitsu that I'm going to have, so that was fun. And yes, I had a purple neck band, and that wasn't the upgrade to the VIP, but I was at premium. And something, you know, as you may have heard or seen, let's see what we have here. Oh, the nice wine. Okay, I'm going to pull up, because you know Leonard Peikoff was there. And I'm going to talk about that. Sorry. Let's just look. I saw pictures of him out there on the Facebook, so. So there was his birthday. That was nice. Okay, so here he's given the speech. Catherine Dickerson, she spoke briefly too. So there he's talking about the Ragtime. Okay, and I'm going to tell you a funny story too, what he had for dinner. Does anybody know? So Rosie has everything set up, beautiful roast beef and everything. And like Leonard wants a hot dog. He was having such a good time. I think they were going to go stop for a hot dog, and I was there. He ate. I think he got 2, and he ate 1.5 of them. There was a picture of it. I'm not, you know. Where's Leonard Peikoff? Anyway, let me go to Objectivist Matters, my Facebook page. Look it up. I saw it. Right. I'll show you my picture too. So for that part, you know, Leonard's there. They're not gonna not let me see Leonard. Or it was a private, but the door was open, and we all sat around and we talked to him, and you know, I don't think you wouldn't want somebody to not talk to him. So I'm not there to eat the roast beef. And thing is too, I had helped James earlier. I met Leonard like the first night. He was needed some help by the car. Well, didn't do much. That bus thing kept rolling, and so they had me to hold it. And then a couple other people helped out as well, Daniel, and so we got to get him in there. Meanwhile, I had this nice room. I offered to swap it with him. It had 2 beds and a better bathroom, and I decided I let them, you know, if they wanted to, but they were comfortable. So Leonard was there, and then he came down for a speech, and then they came down for a dinner, and he wanted a hot dog, and that was like a special banquet dinner. But I think we let most of that go for itself. Then the doors were open. I think anybody could talk to Leonard. You could talk to him up there. He got a standing ovation. He talked about the Ragtime music, and I'll show you some of my notes. Of course, you should go to Rosie, RARCUK, and you should watch it online. I think you can do that for a fee. So what do we have here? Things going on. We're seeing everybody. I just got to get good at talking. You know, we'll see what we can do. He was there. Yeah, Ben Dang. I asked him a question about how mortgages didn't fail in Europe or Canada, and he didn't know exactly why that was, and that's fine. It was kind of a softball question. All right, yeah, this is all. I don't need to watch negative things. I'm in a positive mood. Can I just see Leonard Peikoff and who else posted that he was having hot dogs? Because I don't. It was a great picture. He was very happy. And I want to share with you my. Okay. Yeah, there's all sorts of hot dogs. How about just Leonard Peikoff then? And then I'll just show my picture then. It's a cool one. Is it not photos? Same photos? Okay. I love this guy on O'Reilly. Yeah, Jonathan Hoenig was there. All right. Well, yeah, that was, he was there. Wait, I don't want to watch. I do not want to see negative things. I was privileged to attend. Yeah, of course he was. Joe Kane. Okay, I'm sorry. Yes, he is my hero too. I'm not denying that. Good. There's a lot of people who like to stir up shit. I try to, you see it online. You get in. They try and get in your head, and you got to get back. So that was Joe Kane. All right. Yes, he was there. All right. Well, there was delicious roast beef. He didn't want any of that. They were going to stop for a hot dog. He had a hot dog. I believe he ate one. And he told me, not me, when I say me, they were at a table, okay? There's background going on. You want to focus on a conversation briefly with him, see what he wants to talk about. And it's interesting for me. He told me one of his earliest memories, one of his earliest memories. And I have a couple of questions that aren't important, but it's just, I'll get to that. So, I'll get my picture here. I went back, I reverted my, what is going on here? Objectivist Matters, okay. Is Facebook broken right now then? All right. That's a good thing about I don't have to do anything online. I don't know what causes that. I think I know how to fix it. Okay. Let's try a new page. All right. Let's go back to PSA. Okay, so it really is just Facebook, and something's up. All right, we're going to close it. I know how to fix it. We're going to go into my PSA vault and look at some of the other things that have come recently. So into my vault on PSA. Let me open it up. All right. All right. That sucks. Because Linda Corder, this is... had something, and we were talking about this. You remember how I talked about video games? Right? Remember how we were talking about video games? And I said that things like Donkey Kong, you got a left-handed joystick, you jump with the right, and most of them, where you have button interactions, are on the joystick with the left. Let me just prove that with a visual while I get my head right here. This is my collection, please. Show me my collection. You're not seeing it. Yeah, okay. I'll put my collection up there. That's good filler. Here's another autograph I got too. Maybe we can do more. I'm not going for a full set here, but this is Buck Rogers, and it's Wilma Gets the Message. And it was signed by Aaron Gray, who was on Buck Rogers and also was on Silver Spoons, if you remember Silver Spoons. Okay, so let's have something up there to keep me something to talk about when I get thrown for a loop. So, we'll go back. These were some just kind of goofy things. Like, I don't know, Evil Eye Eric. I think they're trying to be, they're Leaf Awesome cards. Okay, I'm going to go over here while you can study that picture. And hopefully, with any luck at all, get Facebook back. Does everybody know about ipconfig, flush DNS? Releasing, probably good because I keep my own extensions on here. So Yeah, that would cut us off if I was running in real time, but I'm still recording. Haven't run out of disk space. Really? Maybe Facebook's down for the world. I don't know. Oh, maybe I got to renew it. All right, I said you could look at silly pictures. Let's see another one of these goofy things. That's Evil Eye Eric. And that got a 4. I don't know. All right. Am I selling it? Yeah, I am selling the Return of the Jedi. I've got the top half of Luke Skywalker here. He's got his Jedi. He's got his black Jedi, and he's got the top of his lightsaber. And then there's the bottom half. Put the two stickers together, and there you go. And do they show both sides? Can I see the listing on eBay? Yeah, okay, here you can see both sides. It feels like it's at a tilt. Oh, I hope that's not covering me there. Oh, that's over on my monitor. Let me minimize that over to here. I get 3 screens. So yeah, we got the, all right, let's go back. Give me that Facebook. I want to refresh here, please. Thank you. All right, Linda Darn, and let's see if we find her. Yep. All right. Yeah, I mean, I talk. Well, I talk a lot. I don't know people. I talked to Robert, and Amy, and it was good to meet them in person. I thought they were soft. I thought he was a software tester. He told me it was. Well, he told me something else. I probably shouldn't talk about what people's jobs are. So, it may be adjacent to software testing, and yeah, you do a lot of negative. Like you take home a lot of negativity in these big projects. I don't think he was exposed to that, but as much as I might have been over with complicated projects, and people are, I don't know. They have to find fault in something before it goes to release, but they also have to approve it. So it's kind of a, you know, I'm glad that I'm able to do more things that I like now in life. So that's good. So Linda Cordair has this Pac-Man, right? She noticed it. This came out a day ago. I was talking to Leonard about the Pac-Man, how you play it. Now, his first response to me, right? I think I would expect this from anybody who's 92. Especially from a philosopher. You almost have to take his answer like philosophically. But you don't, you know. Oh, do they still have that? Oh, do they still play that? Or do they still make that? It was like, oh, do they still have that? Like, yeah. I said, and they're bringing it back in retro games. I said, you know, they like to have nostalgia. And, all right, I was trying to prepare a question for him about Miss Pac-Man to ask in the open forum, but as it was, I don't think it would have been appropriate to ask him about his playing Miss Pac-Man. But I'd got confirmation that it was in the podcast that he'd played Miss Pac-Man. Right? Why don't we put up a sticker of that? And he remembered, and that, you know, he remembered playing. And I made it a thing where I talked to him a little bit about playing Pac-Man each time I talked to him. All right. And the only thing that was really philosophical was there was anything philosophical really. It was just, oh, do they still have that? Yeah, and I got the, and now here's a card I have. What is it? I completed Act 2. Well, that's like, yeah, they have these little intermissions, and what they had was a ragtime version of this, and I played it for him. And it was a small screen, so he said he might look it up later. He couldn't see it. That's him. But all right, so I did suggest that he play some Pac-Man. So maybe he might, you know, I can find a version on the computer. There's a ghost. He remembered that. He goes, yeah, and then you eat the dot, and then the ghost changed color. You go back after him. You like that. See, there's, the question I was trying to make, let's go back to ChatGPT. All right, let's go, we'll just keep it on this channel. Name elements of ragtime music, and I'm doing this to get a word that's on the tip of my tongue. in 4 sentences. All right, so ragtime music is defined by its syncopated. All right. All right, explain the difference between how the ghosts move in Pac-Man versus Miss Pac-Man. All right. So the ghost behavior is one of the biggest differences between Pac-Man 1980 and Miss Pac-Man. Although both games look similar, the AI logic, well, you know, I don't know, the AI logic got an 8-bit, but anything that caused something to be random, and well, I'm giving it away, behind was significantly changed to make Miss Pac-Man less predictable, right? So in the original Pac-Man, all the ghosts have these characteristics, these behaviors are consistent. All right, in Miss Pac-Man, the ghost movements now randomized target tiles. They don't always take the same route through. And then the mazes are changing, the fruit moves around, the ghost scatter and chase are less synchronized. All right, synchronized, you know, syncopated. That was in the lecture, he explained what it meant and then asked what the word was. So explain syncopated in rag music and in Miss Pac-Man ghost movements in a few sentences. Oh, did we get images of the ghosts? No, that's like in short. It's a picture of a brain? Is that what it is? All right. All right. Well, in ragtime, syncopation means placing the rhythm accents on unexpected beats. The melody jumps. Yes, so we were doing this with him. He did it better than I did. I can't do one hand one, and oh, now I'm in the monitor. It's not a mirror, so the right is the right. All right, so syncopation means placing rhythmic accents on unexpected beats. The melody jumps ahead or lags behind the steady bass pulse, creating a lively offbeat balance. A feel. All right. In Miss Pac-Man, the ghosts move kind of with a behavioral syncopation, right? Their timing and direction shifts aren't perfectly regular like the original Pac-Man. And can I get an image of Donkey Kong, Donkey DONKEY KONG controls original. Images. All right, there we go. That's a nice control panel there. Is that why can't you just give me the picture? Why, I don't want 100 things. I want the picture. All right. Well, you know, fine. You get it. There's the left hand. There's the right hand. There's the jump button. Can I zoom in? Is that it? Whatever. I got to have 100 things up now. 100 different pages. All right. So it's funny too, and Linda, I think, might have been around for some of the conversation, or maybe she randomly found this, but and it's true. Google's having this Pac-Man. I think this is some version of Baby Pac-Man or a new spooky Halloween Pac-Man is available on Google, and how fitting that I mentioned that. So, all right, you know. I can't just look at a controller easy, but he's on the left, he's on the right. How about Stargate? Image of Stargate. That's the most buttons I remember in a game. Stargate arcade. I think when you play with Atari, you got to have both joysticks. You got to have 2 of these. One you got to press buttons on the other one, which only happen in a few games. Arcade. So here you're moving him up and down with the left hand. Then you have a whole series of buttons for the right. That might make sense. When you play guitar, I don't play much guitar. You want to do the fingering with the left. So obviously it takes coordination and some form of, I guess, ambidextry. Well, the takeaway from this and my conversation with me at a table with other people talking, but I guess it's my conversation because I had things I wanted to talk about. You can see them in the other videos that I've mentioned them at least, was that I mouse with my left, and then there's a nice keyboard on the right that makes for effective accounting. Left mouse, right. That reminds me of his Ragtime music, and what we call it, Ragtime Hero, right? Or Ragged Hero. And Leonard too. Now Leonard's dominant writing with his left hand, so his left hand is, but he certainly mouses with the right, or used to mouse with his right. So he told me that, or told the table that, and I just want to put this on Objectivist Matters because I think that's a fun fact and it's good to know. And one of the things I said when he was leaving, and he got this. This is sometime later in the he's going out, right? And I say practice that. Next one will be about, I mentioned one time, next time it'll be about do your lecture on Pac-Man or play some Pac-Man. And there might be a reason why that's fitting. It's not just a random comment. Goes to his lecture a little bit. Well, I'll tell you, he likes to listen to rag music walking around the office. I think walking around his house, right? So it keeps him inspired to keep going. So it would be reason why you might want to sit and practice hand coordination. And that's what I said. And he said, yeah, I'll do it with my other hand, or he indicated like that. I'll see with my less dominant hand. So he actually had got that point across, which was nice. He knew I was the guy talking to him about Pac-Man, and for whatever reason. And we're not going to get too deep. Some people might have got into a deep thing that they didn't agree with him about or something. There's nothing I'm not going to not agree with about. So I don't think any of that was going on, but something deeper about epistemology or even political. I didn't want to be the one to bring up any politics then. I was told it was open to talk about. I mean, I came in at that later part, probably rightfully so. So people wanted to go to more of a private thing, then that would be something they'd go to. And we all got to go. Dan was in there and got to meet him. Some people had already met him, so it's all right. I got to help out. So let me read some of my notes. And what was one more? Well, yeah, remind me. I want to say his memory, because I think he knew that I was talking about memories of Pac-Man. He'd mentioned a memory, all right. And I'm hoping anybody at the table can help me recall it. But he was on the Normandy. He was traveling somewhere, I guess. He grew up in Winnipeg, so from Quebec, I guess you could go in and around to Scotland. The boat had to go back. These are things I remember about what he'd said because of the German U-boats. He'd asked that, why do you know why we had to turn back? This would have been 1938. So Leonard would have been, he was just telling us, he was telling it, and this is your earliest memory. All right. He said yes. And he remembers some marionettes, some puppets, and they were fighting or something, like play fighting, and you would bet on them. And I haven't been able to look this up. I found one picture of, let's see. I mean, I don't deny it's a credible memory. I don't know that people regularly bet on marionettes, if that was, or puppets, if that was a game or that. Because they also asked for a word that I don't remember he said. And it was like the Stammen Hammen or something. And it was something that was your room ticket. And, there's a lot of noise. Not a lot of noise. He's speaking softly. We want to go with the story. But the underlying, you want to get the point too. As he said, he wouldn't know what that was. He didn't hardly know what cash was because he was so young. But he remembered going on the boat and having to come back. That he remembers the boat was sufficient. That I don't know these two other words that I'm trying to look up, or a concept for a game where you bet with marionettes, or how that would be. Or puppets. He used the word puppet. I'm actually putting marionettes in there because I lived in Europe. That's how I imagine them. I guess they could have been more routine puppets. What the actual word is for a kind of a ticket to show maybe you're on the right place. I want to stand and hammer, but I don't know what he said. So I apologize. I mean, please, I was very excited to be there to see Leonard Peikoff. I had never thought in a million years I'd see Mr. Peikoff. What am I going to be talking about? He's already talking about things that he's taken from me, talking about Pac-Man, or other people too, talking about their things. I know one guy, he came with autographs. He did do a few autographs, and one guy, you know, it's like, it's not even worth it. I didn't want to do an autograph. I wanted to play him this instead of an autograph. But he did a few autographs for a bit till he got tired, and he wanted to. I don't know if I should read too many notes from the lecture, because you should probably go watch it. Miss Pac-Man Rag Music.
Big dinner box,
yeah,
8 wings, 5 breadsticks,
if the wings are
2
crispy,
pizzas.
they're
Big dinner
good.
box,
Mine are
8
crispy
wings,
wings.
5
I don't like the
breadsticks,
boneless.
2 pizzas. Everybody wins. Get what you want. Get
But
what you need with a
they
big
can't make
dinner
good
box.
crispy wings.
Only from the hub.
Okay, enough. I ate Domino's yesterday. Okay, can I just play the song? This for him, and he could. So, all right. I never play the full thing. That way, you can go back and listen yourself. That's Miss Pac-Man and Pac-Man Jr. Ragtime Melody. So, I know. Hopefully, I can do this without a lot of any annotation. I like the guy. It's called the Report of the Week. A guy does fast food. I don't think he has to annotate, which means edit. If he does, it's very subtle and quick. Report of the Week. Do a shout out to this guy. All he does is review burgers, and in this one here, I'll just pull it up.
I do want to mention.
I'm watching it. All right. He's got a good radio voice, kind of a thing going for him. He wanted to get the jack-o'-lantern, and he thought it was going to look like a pumpkin, like kind of an orange color, and it's not. I'm sorry.
Right thing.
Weird
My apologies.
That's all right.
Jack-o'-lantern Whopper packaging, but hey,
yeah,
there's lettuce. Cause I see like bacon.
Look at that. This is how I feel about Burger King too. And it used to be like you would go there for flame broiled. I don't know if it's flame broiled in New Jersey a long time ago. It's McDonald's there cooked. I mean, he has to review food. What has he got? 160 views just pulling out getting a bad burger. Good for him. I mean, really good for him. I like that. I'm going to let you go watch that. It's how Burger King ruined the Halloween. Basically, you're supposed to get a nice sandwich that had a pumpkin, but not just getting the order wrong, too. The way they slop everything on one side, I don't know. At some point, you want to have thinner, greasier, if you're eating this stuff, like White Castle. It's just to the point. Yeah, Report of the Week. Something to watch. So yeah, all right. What else do we got? So I got my cards. If anybody's interested in, so here we go. So what Leonard Peikoff really likes and believes is the queen of rag music. Maybe you should watch that. Yeah, you have to watch it. But he did the lecture, he did the one on Viennese opera a couple years ago, and he says there's a lot of passion. He wanted to do it justice, and he wanted to sustain positivity in a collapsing world. So that was the reason he did his show, and that's the reason. I'm sorry, somebody's calling me here, and I might have to wrap it up. Syncopation is a variety. Making part or all of the tune off beat. Emphasis on the unexpected. And the first duty of justice is to defend the good. I think that might have been from another lecture. The ragtime hero. All right. Okay. Left hand's the rhythm. Right hand's the melody. Okay. And he's walking around his house listening to his music. And he's got a favorite. And he ranks them, and I think you probably have to watch the show for that. watch the lecture, which is available through the Irreplaceable Spark online content. When I say show, all right? I'm not going to go back and annotate every misword I do. All right, so thank you for watching, and I'll finish this podcast and see you on the next episode. And remember the things we talked about: Miss Pac-Man, black hole and economics, Irreplaceable Spark. Oh yeah, and I'm doing jiu-jitsu with Mark Pellegrino sometime, and I won a VIP pass for next year by winning the trivia contest. Actually, Rozzy won it, but he had to disqualify himself. So thank you for watching this, and talk to you later. Oh, I got to look at the right side here. Where am I at? There we go.